Hello and welcome to the Living Life Short Discourses on the Greatest Call channel. You see, back in the 1950s, an American clergyman by name Norman Vincent Peale, a mentor and inspirational figure to one of our contemporary United States presidents, wrote a book, The Power of Positive Thinking. Again, The Power of Positive Thinking. You know, a book that sold many millions of copies. Everyone talked about it, and everyone started to think positively as much as they can, without knowing why or how positive thinking work. So, why or how does living or thinking positively work, folks? That is the topic for our discourse today. Why does positive thinking work the same rate as negative thinking? You know, the line of thought those days and now did not go so much into the how or why positive thinking work at all. Did we not really understand the how and why? All we knew was that it worked. So we employed it, and indeed it did work. You see, sometimes you just have to enjoy the use of something without worrying so much about how it works. Not very many of us know how our car engines work, or even our cell phones. All we know is that it works when we need them to work. Hopefully. You know, the famous Henry Ford, the American industrialist and business magnate, has a very famous quote. It goes like this: whether you think you can or can't, you are right. Again, whether you think you can or can't, you are right. You know, meaning if we think we can, we do so, and the converse is equally true. The question is, why is that? Why is that? Why do we, and soul, why do we give life to the line of our thought, positive or negative? From this channel, the simple and yet not so simple answer, as we have known, is that consciousness creates wherever it is directed. Again, consciousness creates wherever it is directed. Negative or positive, it doesn't care. It just creates. As previously articulated, we shall glean, we shall distill the best knowledge and narratives from the sages, the saints, the scientists, prophets, and poets, for the singular purpose of expanding my consciousness and your consciousness. Consciousness creates wherever it is directed. It doesn't care about the results, whether negative or positive. You decide. You decide. But creation, it must, wherever it is directed. Again, creation, it must, wherever it is directed. Direct it towards what we want, and it becomes positive, and equally true when directed towards what we fear or do not want. It is perfectly and inflexibly impartial, just like a cultivated land. You put in the seeds of corn, and we shall reap corn after a few months. Well, is it positive or negative? It doesn't care. We decide. You decide. I decide. Conversely, if we put in the seeds of beans, we shall go and reap that. It is that simple. Thankfully. Let us direct all our consciousness towards positivity, and positive results shall you, me, reap. And it is equally true for negativity. You direct consciousness towards anything, and it shall produce that in abundance. The object of creation is not of necessity to the law of consciousness. Again, the object of creation is not of necessity to the law of consciousness. However, bliss from advancement is what it seeks. So let us create consciously the things we want. So again, consciousness create wherever it is directed, positive or negative. It doesn't care about that. But the product of our attention and intention. It doesn't care but to produce the product of mine, attention and intention, of your attention and intention, that it must produce. How then do we train our minds to understand these basics? By so doing, we go in harmony with the law of consciousness to create the things you want, I want, we all want. We shall come back to that momentarily. Now again, folks, positive thinking is nothing more than directing your consciousness, my consciousness, our consciousness, i.e., intention and attention towards what we want or most desire. For, again, consciousness create wherever it is directed. We dissect and make available the primary laws of the universe, the comprehension and employment of which you, me, we produce life abundantly. The higher our ideals, central goals of our being, the higher the needed spiritedness or metal, like we talked about on our discourse on building supreme confidence. The higher our ideals, the higher the needed spiritedness or metal. That is the reason most great names in history had to go through higher than average life challenges. It is for such a soul to have the much needed energy for the accomplishment of the task, i.e., spiritedness or metal. As we all do know, pressure and temperature with time produces diamonds from common carbon. Again, it is only through pressure and temperature with enough time do we produce diamonds from common carbon. Sometimes backbreaking challenges. Beethoven, one of the greatest of all-time composers, losing one of the much needed of his senses, the sense of hearing. Abraham Lincoln being abused by his dad during his formative years. Steve Jobs having to grow up without his biological parents being known. The list is endless. Wherever we are listening or watching this video from, whichever part of this beautiful planet, we shall find the founders of the land, the great names of the land, going through higher than average life challenges. You, my friend, are not alone. Whatever it is you are going through now, you are not alone. Most, if not every great soul we admire went through backbreaking challenges. The purpose mostly is to polish and heighten their soul energy, my soul energy, your soul energy, and to move us to higher plateaus of excellence. To move us to higher plateaus of excellence. Again, life challenges are there for two main reasons. One, numero uno, to strengthen you, me, our mental or spiritedness. Two, numero dos, to help us to be genuinely grateful after those challenges have been solved and lessons learned. God does not burden any soul beyond its capacity. Again, God does not burden any soul beyond its capacity. So goes a good old book. So whatever it is we are going through now, asking why me, like we all do all the time, why me, seems to be the wrong question. We should be asking, what is this here to teach? Again, whenever we are going through some of the biggest challenges in our lives, let us constantly ask, what is this here to teach, to instruct? And we can promise you the answers must you find at the right time. Studying basic Mandarin in college, as most of us have heard, the Chinese have a perfect character, pinyin characters representing crisis or challenges in life. Wei Ji, Wei meaning pure crisis, whereas Ji means opportunity. So in every crisis comes perfect opportunity. The reason, instead of asking why me, why me, the right question should be, what is this here to teach? What is this here to teach? Let us be in readiness to learn from every challenge. Curveballs that life throws to us. For every challenge instructs or teaches. Again, every challenge comes to instruct or teach. So living or thinking positively only entails directing your consciousness my consciousness, our consciousness, i.e., attention and intention towards what we most desire instead of the absence or the lack thereof, or instead of the things we fear. Again, living or thinking positively only entails directing our consciousness, that is attention and intention, towards what we most desire instead of what we fear or what we lack. You see, in the heated moment of crisis, let us remember the reason listening to these audios on daily basis help. Let us always remember that constant repetition is the most effective way we learn anything. Let us remember that just as consciousness creates wherever it is directed, when withdrawn from anything, that thing withers and dies and fades into insignificance. It withers, dies, and fades into insignificance. So, in the heated moment of crisis, when we think the whole world is crumbling, our whole world is crumbling, let us take away our attention and intention from that, and we can promise the energy that sustained that object or condition will begin to significantly reduce and eventually would wither and die. No matter how stressful and how challenging the crisis, let us remember to direct all our intention and attention towards what we want, i.e., positive directedness of consciousness. Positive because that's what we want, and that shall we produce abundantly at the right time. It is soothing to hear we are never burdened beyond our capacity. We are never burdened beyond our capacity. In the deluge of our crisis, it is easier always to think about the things we fear negatively, no matter how positively we have been living prior. In such conditions, let us try to step back. We should just take some time back, take a shower, long walk. Let us try to see if we can run or meditate. Taking a nap wouldn't be too bad either. And during those times, let us remember consciousness create wherever it is directed. Consciousness create wherever it is directed. Let us remember that in those moments, the negative situation we are in have already been created. So, what do we want to see in the near future? Once that is found, let us direct all our attention and intention towards that. In conclusion, consciousness creates wherever it is directed. The so-called negative conditions are only here to teach and instruct. Let us create consciously what we want instead of what we fear. Let us direct all our intention and attention towards the things we want, and positively must we live. And positively must we live. Once again, this was the Living Life Short Discourses on the Greatest Call channel. God bless you, your family, and the planet. See you all very soon.